And one of those things I wanted to touch on is a recent trip that recent show anyway that Databricks put on. They during that their annual conference, their Data Plus AI Summit, they talked about something that we've been trying to do in the data industry for, I don't know, 4 decades. That is to bring together the different worlds of OLAP and OLTP, meaning analytics and transactions. And my goodness, that is, it hasn't happened heretofore simply not because it was, we didn't have enough horsepower or we didn't have the right technology or the right mindset. It just simply didn't make sense financially, performance, et cetera, et cetera. It just wasn't a great idea. You
So it
saw
seems
it
like
in
it's
pockets.
two different models, right? It's the kind of heavy analytics and high performance, fast speed, right? So you thought those two things are sort of oil and water, right? You always separated that up to this point anyway. So why now?
It depends.
So this is LTAP, right? That's
what they're calling it, and that stands for the Lake Transactional Analytic Processing Platform database. Don't call it a database because those don't really exist anymore.
Data something, but it's not a base.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen like some databases that had like very specific areas of interest, like MongoDB, adding analytics on top. You saw it with Oracle and their HeatWave, adding analytics on top of transactions. And the idea was so you didn't have to move the data in order to, query it to find out what the heck is going on in your transactional system. And within those confined spaces, it seemed to be okay. And it was useful because you didn't have to move the data. But now what Databricks is really espousing here is this idea of taking the, ye old Lakehouse, which is, the sort of data substrate, if you will, that is, basically built on Parquet files, speaking Apache Iceberg for a table format, and using their implementation of the most beloved database in the world, which is Postgres, which is their lake-based product, and making some peanut butter and chocolate out of that, and allowing us to basically have this, it's basically serverless Postgres running on top of their object storage. So you have this, you have the same data, the same governance, the same everything on top of one substrate, but you can look at it differently. And so I'm very much for this. And I think that it's a nice, injection of energy into the marketplace that sometimes data professionals tend to say, shh, don't touch it because it might break. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. I think obviously Postgres is never going to go anywhere, and it shouldn't, because it is fantastic. And the idea of an object storage, open table format is also not going away because it is also a fantastic idea. Yep, with some niggles, because you know how I feel about JSON. But the point is that, I think that what Databricks is really telling us here is that, the stack, if you will, the agentic stack, that's starting at the very bottom now, doesn't need to be as complicated as we once thought it needed to be, all the way up into the agent space.
Well, who knew it would be AI that would collapse so many things, AI that would force many things. And I think that's one of the drivers here, if not maybe the driver, is we would have gone on happy with our Reese's peanut butter cup never happening, right? the old car crash and you've got peanut butter on my chocolate kind of thing.
Fantastic set of commercials, by the way. Yeah. Golden era.
It is.